Adrian, thank you, and a very good evening to you for what is always a showpiece event, regardless of the circumstances. Brazil in town for only the 5th time this century. The fixture to be relished, even if injuries and a loss of form render this Seleção a shadow of some of their predecessors. But whilst the 5-time world champions are currently pressing the reset button, England are applying the finishing touches to their preparations for the Euros just 12 weeks away. Every moment having the potential to shape decisions for who's in the 11, who's in the 23. Tonight the chance for more fresh games to be staked, as they have been against Brazil in the past. England's sole win over the Brazilians on foreign soil was one of their most famous inner friendly, the night John Barnes weaved his way through the defence of the Maracanã, and Mark Hateley powered home a second goal to seal the victory. They were 20 and 22 respectively, with Hateley winning only his second cap, but their careers were never the same from that point as stars were born. The level of expectation around Barnes mushroomed exponentially. Hateley left Portsmouth for AC Milan within a fortnight. And only 2 games to go before the squad is named for this forthcoming summer's tournament. A good display for some of those fringe members of the squad who are included tonight could have far-reaching effects, and of course the opposite may well also be true. Well, these are the teams. England have Pickford in goal, Walker, Stones, Maguire and Chilwell, Rice and Gallagher, Foden, Bellingham and Gordon, with Watkins up front. Brazil, Bento in goal, Danilo, Fabrizio Bruno, Lucas Beraldo and Wendell, João Gomes, Bruno Guimaraes and Lucas Paquetá, Rafinha, Vinicius and Rodrigo. So England will be kicking from left to right in this first half. White shirts, dark blue shorts. Brazil, their change kit. Always a pity when they're not in the yellow, in the blue shirts today and white shorts. Referee Artur Dias, who took charge the last time that these two nations met here back in 2017. The latest instalment of England-Brazil, an iconic matchup that recalls Pelé and more, Barnes and Hateley, Ronaldinho and Despair. A rivalry with the 3 Lions that won only 4 times. What a fillip victory would be as the preparations for the summer gather pace. I'm delighted to say alongside me as the game gets underway, former England captain Stuart Pearce.
Yes, Jim, it's a pleasure to be at this one, and as I say, Belgium looming as well next week. 2 fantastic internationals, albeit it says friendly above the door, but for a lot of these players, very, very significant in regard to the tournament coming up this summer. Not many games left. This is the first of 4 friendlies before, obviously, we go into combat in the summer.
And significant, right, as well as far as the Brazilians are concerned, who come here on the back of 3 straight defeats in their World Cup qualifying campaign. They've only taken 7 points in the first 6 games. It's inconceivable, really, that they will fail to qualify. It's the first game under their new head coach, Dorival Junior, who's in nearly his 26th managerial post. And also with a number of debutants in this side, 5 of the 11. It's a very significant night on a personal basis for those representing the Seleção as well. Ball's gone out of play. It's a free kick which will be taken on the Brazilian right by Danilo. He's just laid it back to Fabrizio Bruno. And then on his left-hand side to Lucas Beraldo, playing his club football these days with PSG after his recent €20 million move. 25 tonight, one of the debutants in this Brazilian side. And the other side of the penalty area for Fabrizio Bruno, driven forward and headed on by Rafinha, brought down on halfway but snapped clear by Declan Rice. Good early possession this for Brazil, but Guimaraes in danger of losing out to Bellingham, and the loose ball breaks Foden's way. Bellingham stayed down for a moment, but he's getting back to his feet as a speed. Gallagher feeding Kyle Walker on the right. Now Gallagher again picking it up, sandwiched between 2 Brazilian defenders. Free kick to England, level with the edge of the penalty area, and about 4 yards to the right-hand side of the box.
I think we've got a situation, Jim, tonight where Brazil want to ease their way into the game with succession of passing and possession, and England are saying, we're not going to let you do that. They've pressed aggressively, they've pressed with energy, Gallagher leading it, Bellingham being part of it, and forced a very dangerous free kick on the right hand side of the box now.
There's great intensity about the way that England won that, and having got the ball back, the speed at which they broke towards the edge of the penalty area was very impressive. So Foden's going to stand over this free kick. It's going to be an in-swinging delivery deep towards the back post and beat everybody, and it goes wide. Goalkeeper Beto came out, got nowhere near it, and neither did Harry Maguire, who's the target of Foden's delivery. And it's out of play for a goal kick. 3 gone here on TalkSport 0 now.
Yeah, there's a defining rule when you get a free kick. It's basically on the point of the box near enough. When you whip that ball in swing, if it misses everyone, it's got a nestle in the far corner. So the only thing Foden done wrong, trajectory decent, but it's got to be on target eventually.
Brazil in possession on the edge of the box away to our right hand side. Danilo playing it forward. And it comes down towards Vinicius Junior, who's starting the game on the left of the front three. Been a bit of conjecture that he might be the one going through the middle, but in these early stages it's his club teammate Rodrigo who has the more central role. In recent games, whilst Jude Bellingham has been suspended for Real Madrid, Rodrigo and Vinny have played through the middle together in a 4-4-2 for Real. The opportunity to play a split strikers here with Paquetá taking up a more central position, almost in a 10 behind them. Is Kyle Walker bringing the ball forward for England, who will be happy with the early foundations they've laid down here through the opening 4 goalless minutes. Gallagher turning very neatly in the midfield, and now he's got an opportunity to run. And he's gone some 30 yards forward into Brazilian territory. They're doing their best to try and bring him down. Eventually Paquetá's managed it. He had 3 or 4 nibbles at it before he eventually brought Gallagher down. And now, having had a sighter, Phil Foden has got a free kick in an almost identical position to that last one.
Yeah, Gallagher started the game very impressively, I've got to say, either out of possession where he's gone after people, when he's playing for Chelsea, he presses very, very aggressively, and driving with the ball on that occasion, forcing the free kick from Paquetá. And to be fair, there's going to be an interesting match-up there, Rice and Paquetá playing against each other, trying to nullify each other, but also trying to make their varying teams play.
So Chilwell has come across for this free kick. So there is going to be variation on the theme because Foden has made his way inside the penalty area. It's Chilwell that clips it in on the edge of the 6-yard box. It's headed away as an offside flag comes up. It's a free kick to the Brazilians, which they'll take on the edge of the 6-yard box. Mentioned 3 defeats in a row, 3 wins in 10 for Brazil. Tite left after the World Cup. He'd been the longest serving Brazilian national coach in history. He only lost 6 of his 61 games. And they've lost 5 out of the 9 that they played since he left. He was replaced by 2 caretaker managers, Ramon Menezes and then Fernando Diniz. And now it's Dorival Junior, Copa Libertadores winner with Flamengo, who left Sao Paulo to take charge in January. A big night for him as well. And his Brazilian side in possession with Bruno Guimaraes, the Newcastle man, just turning it inside his penalty area for Fabrizio Bruno, the older of the 2 centre-halves making their debuts for Brazil today. Now Danilo stabbing it through the midfield. It was a hurried ball. Foden winning it back. As he came onto it, he just tried to clip it down the right-hand side. It took a deflection as it goes out of play for a throw that will be taken on the England right by Walker. Walker into the feet of Bellingham and back again. Bellingham just unable to get to the second ball. Watkins is thwarted. And it'll be cleared by Brazil on the edge of their own box before Ollie Watkins comes in and gives the free kick away. The big opportunity for Watkins tonight in the absence of Harry Kane, that goes without saying.
Yeah, I think 2 players this is a crucial game for, Watkins and Gallagher. I really do. I think they're on good form for their clubs, and they've got a brilliant opportunity to stake a claim, not just for the squad, but more importantly for a starting berth.
Anthony Gordon making his debut tonight over on the England left-hand side. You have to feel that if Saka had been available today, then Foden would be playing on the left, and Gordon might have had to wait a little bit longer for his opportunity. It might only have come as a substitute. I think Gareth has named the strongest possible side with the players that aren't available. I mean, he's without Saka, Kane, Palmer and Henderson. And then Gerhi, Trippier, Alexander-Arnold. That's easy for me to say, isn't it? Let's try that again. Alexander-Arnold and Grealish, who are all injured from the previous squad. Colwell, James, Shaw and Wilson injured as well. And then Ben White's asked not to be considered. So that's a list of absentees that's well into double figures. And this is a 26-man squad that could have been named for this friendly. England have only named 22. They can use 6 of the subs, incidentally. Brazil in possession inside their own half, and Rodrigo's done well to drop that little bit deeper and play it out towards Rafinha. Coming in off the Brazilian right. Back for Rodrigo. Play back to the heart of the Brazilian back line for Fabrizio Bruno, who plays his club football for Flamengo in his native Brazil. Ball played forward through that midfield again. Very neat and tidy from the men in blue as they bring it forward. Vinicius spinning it down towards the right-hand side for Danilo. Now out towards Rafinha, former Leeds United man. Now at Barcelona bringing it forward. 15 yards adrift to the edge of the England penalty area. Back he goes to Bruno Guimaraes. It's inside the centre circle. Just side-footing it forward for Paquetá. England just struggling to make any inroads at the moment as Brazil bring it forward, and Pickford dives to his left to make a relatively comfortable save in the end. It was a well-struck shot from Rodrigo. Pickford able to make a comfortable start. 0-0.
Yeah, as I say, we've got 2 super games here. I think leading into the tournament, the games are probably at a lesser level come the summer in friendly-wise. But certainly these 2 games against Brazil and Belgium will be a great yardstick to see exactly where we are collectively and individually in certain aspects.
Brazil ranked 5th in the FIFA World Rankings and 6th in the ELO rankings, but perhaps a more accurate barometer as the goalkeeper Bento comes and claims the ball inside his penalty area. Belgium in the top 10 in both lists as well. England currently 3rd in the FIFA list and 5th in the ELO rankings after an unbeaten run of 10 coming into tonight. And they're unbeaten here at Wembley in 20, which is a run that goes back to 2020 in a defeat against Denmark. That doesn't include a penalty shootout defeat of some significance in the middle of all of that, of course. Brazil will bring the ball forward. They've had the majority of possession in the early stages. Wendell, the left back, who started at left back for Porto in both of their recent Champions League matches against Arsenal. Now back for Bruno Guimaraes. Long switch of play from him. It's a really good ball out towards Rafinha, and very well defended as well by Ben Chilwell, who just came across to make a block tackle to put it out of play for a throw.
Yeah, I think what England have got to do well tonight against this Brazilian side, who certainly enjoy a possession-based game, is make sure they're aggressive pressing when the time's right, but when the time's not right, sit off, get nice and compact and wait for the right time to go and press. Otherwise they will pick you off if you go in 1s and 2s.
Pickford with a delicious chip ball out towards Anthony Gordon. Gordon has got plenty of experience playing international level for the under-21s, where he had a really good record and scored a couple of goals in the European Championship victory. Back he goes for Stones. Stones now to Gallagher. Gallagher wearing 8 tonight for England. Back for Jordan Pickford, who's sweeping up, splitting the 2 centre-halves for a moment here for England. Just out between Stones and Maguire. And now Maguire, dark head, thick set, coming forward from the back, just plays it out towards Chilwell. Chilwell, who's winning only his 3rd cap in about 2.5 years tonight, goes back for Maguire. Now towards Rice. Rice to Bellingham. It's a delicious turn from Bellingham. It's got away from Guimaraes. Feeds it out to the left-hand side. Chilwell's delivery inside the penalty area is headed away by Fabrizio Bruno. And then Conor Gallagher doing his best to stop a counter-attack. Can't do so. Ball over the top. It's a big chance of Vinicius. Pickford doesn't know whether to come out or not. The shot goes past the goalkeeper. Walker came back so speedily and swept up behind Jordan Pickford to clear from inside the 6-yard box.
Well, I've got to say England were caught out there. They've ended up stepping in to try and emphasise a press, and the ball over the top called us out. Pickford got caught in no man's land, and Walker's pace once again helps England.
So where did that go wrong? Whose fault was that?
Well, as I said in my previous statement, unless you go collectively on the press and 1 or 2 are short in going, someone will get their head up and play a ball in behind, and that's exactly what happened on that occasion. Good movement by the Brazilians up front.
Now the first yellow card of the game is going to be shown to Jude Bellingham, who has wired into a challenge and incurred the wrath of Arda Diaz. Bruno Guimaraes still down, face down on the turf, and Bellingham just a little bit late in getting there and went in very exuberantly, and he's booked.
I've got to say, that was a very poor late challenge. I don't know whether it looked a lot worse than it actually... No, it was a poor challenge. I'll tell you what, on the odd occasion, that is a red. In a major tournament, you've got to be very careful what you're doing, and that could well be a red.
Well, in his last league game, he got himself sent off. That was a match for Real Madrid against Valencia, the first straight red card of his career. Bruno Guimaraes has been receiving treatment. More worryingly, from an England perspective, Kyle Walker is now down receiving treatment, and I don't know whether he picked that up as he made that very brisk run back to get goal side and clear the one that just fell behind Jordan Pickford from the shot from Vinny, but he's down hurt and may potentially not be able to continue here on the basis that being an international friendly, England will take no chances whatsoever. He's his left hamstring.
Yeah, I think there's a hamstring problem there, Jim, and it was him who just got caught out. Just looking at the replay of that, Vinicius just cut inside him and darted inside, and it just caught him out. And luckily for him, the strike on the ball that bisected Pickford wasn't strong enough, and he recovered to it.
Well, when he kicked the ball forward, Kyle Walker, I think the replay, I didn't miss it at the time, the replay shows that he actually smacked it straight to the back of Harry Maguire. But with Maguire just having arched his back, it hit his shoulders and went high up in the air rather than coming straight back past Walker. But the man with the captain's armband is leaving the field for now, but it looks as though he's just in discussion with the medical staff going to be able to continue. They've got Konsa and Branthwaite that they could call upon to bring on. If they brought Branthwaite on, they'd have to move Maguire from one side of the back line to the other. He's playing on the left of the two centre halves, and the position that Branthwaite would favour. Konsa, if it is he that would come on for his England debut to replace Walker if he can't continue, would just slot in on the right.
Or even Gomez, potentially.
Yeah. So Walker waiting for permission to come back on the field. And Brazil have restarted play. And they're bringing forward with Fabrizio Bruno. It's 0-0. You're 15 minutes in here on TalkSport. And on Tuesday night, England taking on Belgium in a game that kicks off at 8. And we will bring you that one as well as every kick of every game throughout the Euros on the TalkSport network. And good to see that Walker is back on and trots back onto the field. We'll keep a very close eye on his mobility. And Stones, just for a moment, looks as though he might have played everybody onside. The ball towards the edge of the penalty area, and Vinicius goes down inside the box. England will be able to bring it away, and then Foden wins the throw. The boos are from England fans who felt that Vinicius dived there, and there's just a little bit of finger pointing going on as well. That's the second time in about 3 minutes of action that England's back line has been caught very square.
Yeah, the interaction between the Brazilian front line has been absolutely outstanding, and he's just watching the replay of that. He's gone down so cheaply. It's incredible.
But no foul on him. And no foul on Foden here. He's way back to his feet. Ball played inside the penalty area for Rodrigo, who can get a shot in, but off balance has fired it wide. Well, England made a really good start of this game, the first 10 minutes. But in the 6 intervening minutes, Brazil have looked well on top. And defensively, England not at the races at the moment.
Yep, you're right. As I say, a good start to the game, certainly. High energy, good press. But since then, Brazil have breached the back line on a few occasions. England gaining with players, following them in. And what that does, it mixes up your back line slightly, and Brazil are finding the spaces in between.
England now have a free kick. One over on the far touchline. Anthony Gordon, shock of blonde hair, even visible from here, way over the other side of the pitch, 100 yards away. Gordon takes that free kick and lays it back, and here is John Stones on the occasion of the 70th cap for England, able to play the ball forward, just clips it beautifully into space. Bellingham will chest it down and play it back for Declan Rice. Rice, who may well win his 50th cap for England on Tuesday Night Live on TalkSport when Belgium come here. This is his 49th tonight. Here's Bellingham. Bellingham trying to turn and get away, and then takes it down towards the dead ball line, clips it back. Conor Gallagher coming onto it, and he's flicked it to his right. It's Watkins! Oh, it's over on the stretch. Became a difficult chance with the defender converging on him. He had to chest it down and just wait for it to drop. And that meant that he didn't quite have the time to be under complete control of the shot, and he's found it over the bar.
I've got to say, Jim, super play by Bellingham on this left-hand side, and he's found a pass to the edge of the box to Gallagher, who's chested it, helped it on to Watkins, and the ball just would not come down, and he's called it. Well, I think there was a tackle in there who got first contact on the ball, and it's cannoned off of him and over the bar.
Yeah, Lucas Beraldo actually just flicking it with his left foot, just slightly changed where it dropped for Watkins as it stretched, and he couldn't then be in control of the shot. He's started a couple of internationals for England on home soil, not only Watkins, and he scored in each of them. Hoping to add to that tonight. Bruno Guimaraes has got possession, just keeping an eye on Walker. Seems to be okay. He's certainly still going at the moment for England. John Stones has got the ball. We're 18 minutes in. It's England 0, Brazil 0 here on TalkSport with Stuart Pearce alongside me, Jim Proudfoot. And now Pickford will clip the ball left-footed straight out of play because there obviously is a problem, and it is going to be Walker who will come off because Walker now will take off the captain's armband. Is he going to give it to Harry Maguire? It looks as though that is the case. So Konsa for Walker is the change that is being made. It's interesting that Konsa rather than Gomez is the first man off the rank at right back.
Yeah, I think maybe that Gomez has not been in the squad as regularly as Konsa might have played a part in that, but I think his form at Liverpool, Gomez, has been very good. Just touching on that point, why we've been breached at the back a little bit. Our defenders, especially the central defenders, are asked to go all the way in. So if their player drops off, go with him, squeeze in tight on him. Now, if you don't get that press right, someone's got to cover the run in behind. And on a couple of occasions so far, Jim, we failed to do that.
So Kyle Walker leaves the field. Doesn't look to be in too much pain as he does so, but he's straight down the tunnel. And just had a word with Gareth Southgate on his way off. And so a big night for Konsa, who becomes the second player making his England debut, and the 96th different player that Gareth Southgate has used as England manager. It'd be interesting actually to try and predict who the 100th might be, bearing in mind we've got two uncapped players on the bench today, so good chance that there'll be numbers 97 and 98. It'll be interesting to try and work out who number 100 might prove to be. His Foden finding Rice on the right-hand side, tucked through the midfield. It's another great turn from Bellingham. Slips it to his left. Gallagher's just got to retrace his steps through the centre circle for a moment, but can do that, and now plays it down towards Ben Chilwell. Gordon takes over, coming in off that left flank, the other England debutant tonight. Back for Conor Gallagher, who's making just his fifth start for his country. Stones has got it now. Stones in the centre of midfield to Gallagher. Back out to the left once more. Opportunity now for Bellingham to come off that left flank. Gordon will take over. Turns. Play back. Rice to Gallagher. Gallagher drawing blue shirts to him. Trying to slip it down towards Phil Foden. It wasn't the best pass, and Foden's done brilliantly to rescue it, and then Gallagher nipped him blindside of Wendell, who fouled him. So it's another free kick to England in that corridor between the right-hand edge of the penalty area and the right-hand touchline. This one's a little bit nearer the dead ball line, so it's a slightly acuter angle for the delivery from Foden.
Yeah, it is, but I think they missed a trick with the last two free kicks. As I said, from this area, you've got to be hitting the target and get players flashing across the face of the goalkeeper. Another opportunity here for Foden to do exactly that.
So Foden sending it in very deep. It's chested down on the right-hand side of the penalty area and volleyed in by Rice and blocked and cleared. Gordon for Bellingham, back outside the penalty area. Gordon will try and take it on and can't. And Brazil are able to bring it away. And no thoughts of a counter-attack, though. Stones saw to that. England winning possession back, and then Gordon has his legs side from underneath him by Lucas Paquetá. As another free kick to England. This one is over on the left and about 5 yards outside the box. It was a poor challenge.
It certainly was. As I say, Gordon manipulated the ball so quickly in that situation. Paquetá got there a little bit too late, just caught him in and around the knee. But another opportunity here, a little more central on the left-hand side this occasion.
So the Brazilian debutant goalkeeper Bento, another one of the players who's playing his club football in his homeland, just stands on his right-hand post and making sure that he's got this wall in the right place, because if there was never really any opportunity for a direct shot from the previous free kicks, there certainly is from here.
Well, this is my whole point, Jim. You've got a goalkeeper making his debut at Wembley, and we've had 3 opportunities before this one to actually make the goalkeeper make a decision and make a save.
Yeah, the first one he got caught under the flight of the ball and missed it. But he hasn't had a save to make as yet. Can England remedy that now? Chilwell and Rice standing over. It's Chilwell that clips it in. Maguire comes in and has headed it over the bar. Fire deflection, just over the shoulder, I think, of one of the Brazilian defenders, and goes out to play for corner. First of another.
Yeah, fairly well worked there. Chipped up to the back, outswing. Maguire's come in and just headed it onto the back of the head of the defender. But for me, a missed opportunity. Goalkeeper still 4 free kicks in, not having to make a save as yet.
So what can England muster from this corner? Left-footed in swinging delivery, very deep. Goalkeeper came out and then thought better of it, and came out towards the edge of the penalty area for Ben Chilwell, whose rising drive just for a moment got the people that were ensuring the big screens interested, but it missed that and ended up about 30 rows back in the crowd away to our right. We're midway through the first half, Stuart. It's 0-0. And what would your overall assessment be of England's performance so far? Offensively, much better than defensively.
Definitely. Brazil have proved they can breach our back line if we're not careful and don't get our defensive work correct. I think when we press them and press them aggressively, certainly in their back line, we can turn the ball over. So, for me, the trick is press and press aggressively. I like to see us when we do that, but make sure we all do it collectively.
England did beat Brazil back in 2013. The goals from Rooney and Lampard. That is their only success in the last 11 matches with Brazil. It's one of only 4 all told. Stuart earlier, the part he played in one of those previous 3. Foden's done well, the referee's done well as well, because Gallagher was fouled. It's a good advantage that was played. Gallagher's back on his feet, Bellingham's played him in. Gallagher takes a touch and has to come back away from the edge of the penalty area. Beats Rice, now Chilwell will play for it. Gordon level the edge of the box, Chilwell on the overlap. First time ball in from him. Foden shaping to try and head it, didn't get as far as him. Konsa gets a touch to his left-hand side for Stones, and now Rice. And back out for Gordon again. He comes back in field for Declan Rice, but every Brazilian player is between him and goal as he lays it off for Ezri Konsa, who has been pressed into action many times for Villa this season on the right of a back 4, as well as playing at centre-half. And it is that role that he's taking today. Bellingham's just filtered out to the right flank to pick up possession now, and he lays it back for Konsa, the Londoner, who has had a brilliant part to play in Villa, particularly under Unai Emery. Has hardly missed the game. Foden laying it back again for Bellingham. Bellingham to Rice, down towards the right-hand side. Foden flicking it in, and Bellingham trying to supply with the return ball. There's a body check there. Foden going down inside the penalty area. The VAR may well be having a look at that. Foden's still down, actually, holding his head. He's now sitting up again and be back on his feet in a moment. But England haven't got the ball back, and Brazil launching a counter-attack here of some repute. Paquetá out towards Rafinha. Chilwell tried to get back. Gordon did get back and puts it away from Rafinha. He stays down injured, and England are able to bring it away with Chilwell chipping it over the top for Ollie Watkins, who's done well to control it. Drags it away from Fabrizio Bruno. Back out towards Gordon on the left. Gordon coming to the edge of the penalty area. Feeds Bellingham. Back he goes to the Newcastle man again. Right-footed effort. Narrowly wide. Fire deflection for another England corner.
Yeah, good effort there. As I say, Gordon's just come inside, opened up the goal slightly, and a good block by Fabrizio. But to be fair, I think from England's point of view, I'd like to see more players running in behind from short and long distances. That was probably the first time we've seen Watkins go in behind their back line, and there was an element of panic with that. I certainly think Brazil's best chance has come by a movement and a run in behind as well.
Another England corner. Foden again, very deep towards the back post. Headed away by Danilo. Chilwell dragging it narrowly wide. Hit a bouncing effort which cannoned down into the ground and then spun and looped towards the top right-hand corner. But just dropped away at the last moment and went wide of the post. And England, after that really poor 7 or 8 minute spell that they had, have now been back on top in the last 10 minutes or so. But it remains 0-0 here on TalkSport.
Yeah, it certainly does. But we've had 2 good chances there. One deflected by Gordon, and that one, and I'm going to talk on behalf of the Gilda left-backs, that's a gilt-edged chance for Chilwell to come and do better than he's actually done.
He's only scored the 1 goal so far for England, which came against Andorra back in 2021. Here's John Stones in possession. Stones has scored twice in a World Cup game, you'll remember, against Panama back in the day. He hasn't ventured forward into midfield at all so far, really, John Stones. He's won a free kick here, but that's the first opportunity that he's had to push forward. He has not really been given any licence. He's just stayed at home alongside Harry Maguire. As he picks the ball up now, he's on halfway and almost the deepest of England's outfield players. Konsa was, and the two of them have just exchanged passes, but there isn't the freedom that Stones is given at Manchester City for him so far here today. We anticipated that would be the case for a variety of reasons. Gordon coming back, finding Rice. Rice with his very upright running style, controlling the ball down towards Bellingham. Foden coming in off the right, just dancing inside, a little drop of the shoulder, and Bellingham does likewise before he's fouled by Joao Gomez, and Griezmann has given a free kick England's way about 10-12 yards outside the penalty area. It's a steady succession of set pieces that England are getting now. They've got to make more of them.
Yeah, they certainly have. They're asking questions of the Brazilians. You know, they're quick into the challenges, nicking it past them, and that's what's forcing these free kicks. I'm quite enjoying watching Bellingham, Rice and Gallagher. The interaction between the three of them, I think, is very good. I certainly think, obviously you expect Rice to be the point player of that, but in front of him, Bellingham and Gallagher have interlinked very well together.
So this free kick taken short by Rice to Foden and clipped straight back to him. Teased inside the penalty area but headed away. England win the seconds outside the box with the retreating Gordon. He plays it back for Konsa, and then Konsa more than happy with his second touch just to go all the way back for his goalkeeper. And Pickford will smack it forward, where the Brazilian captain Danilo will let it run, and it goes through for his goalkeeper Bento. He's been the first choice keeper for Atletico Paranaense in Brazil for the last couple of seasons. Making his debut tonight. No Edison, no Alisson in this particular squad. So they've named 3 goalkeepers in the squad, and none of them have played a game for their country. And Bento, the man getting the nod to make his debut tonight, and he's got it upfield here. But it's cleared away from Rafinha by Harry Maguire out to the far touchline, where Danilo just tries to nod the ball away. It's been well won back by Watkins. Watkins getting a return ball from Gordon. Oh, just pulled back just behind Bellingham. Almost perfect. And then England ultimately give a free kick away. But that was a great break. Everything was good except for the final ball.
Great interaction between Gordon and Watkins there to turn the ball over and then break. And it was that running behind we were talking about earlier, whether it be a long ball or a short sliding ball, but we had movement in behind, and it was Watkins again.
So nearly able to find Bellingham, who has added goals to his game since he went to Real Madrid, and his goal scoring record has been exceptional. 20 he's got this season for Real in 31 games, which is far in advance of his numbers earlier in his career with Dortmund, and indeed with Blues before that. Vinicius coming in off the left, and he's running towards the edge of the penalty area, taking on Konsa, and then stumbling at the vital moment. Konsa got out of the way. Vinicius' scuffed cross just rolls innocuously over the dead ball line, and out of play for a goalkeeper that Jordan Pickford will take. 32 minutes here on TalkSport. England 0, Brazil 0, And here's Stuart Pearce.
Well, Konsa done extremely well there. He played his strongest card, and that strongest card was a word called patience. He just stood up and said, look, I'm not going to give you an easy path behind, and dealt with him really well. Just going back to Bellingham, I think Bellingham will be considered by England a more advanced, almost a number 10 as he's wearing tonight, so it'll be down to him to supplement goals in that position.
Come back to that in a moment as Rodrigo makes a good run and tries to drag the ball through the 6-yard box, but got it all wrong. Fell over his shoulder and he stumbles and it goes out of play. So Bellingham is playing as the orthodox 10. Where does Foden?
Well, he's going to have to play on one of the flanks, if at all. That is the bottom line, because I think I'm not sure Gareth sees Bellingham, certainly the way he's playing for Madrid, as a number 10. That's where he sees him playing. That's his best position. And if we're suggesting that Bellingham potentially is arguably our best player, you've got to play in a position that suits him.
Which kind of, I guess, goes back to the discussion we were having before the game, whether you can play Foden alongside him as almost a split 10, two very advanced 8s. As Stones brings it forward now, and he's fouled by Paquetá. The referee, yes, he is going to produce a yellow card. It's his third niggling challenge of the night, the West Ham man, and he's in the book along with Jude Bellingham.
Yeah, I mean, going back to your point there, Jim, that is the balance that you've got to strike in your mind as a manager and say, right, what is the best balance? I've got Rice, I've got Bellingham. I know their best positions in that midfield 3. Who supplements them the best? And to be fair, Gallagher started well. He's infectious with the way he plays. He's high energy, he's aggressive, and he drives at people, and I like that about him. I think England need that type of player in there.
So here come Brazil on the counter-attack again. It's 3 against 4 for a moment. England have recovered their defensive shape, and Gallagher's done well. He's covered a lot of ground. He's pulled it back. It was a terrible miscued shot, which might break Brazil's way. Falls for Rodrigo. The left-footed effort goes back off the post, and Paquetá somehow hasn't scored. And it all came after a miscue, and the miscue took 3 England defenders out of the picture. A loose ball falling Wendel's way, and somehow they haven't been able to make the most of the chance, but that's the closest to the deadlock being broken. Brazil hit the post, but it's still 0-0.
Yeah, I think if you go up the other end, England have failed to hit the target with their opportunities, or half opportunities. Brazil certainly have been the more likely to break the deadlock.
Just have that little bit more potency in front of goal. But neither goalkeeper has had a half-decent save to make so far. Right, the shots on target have been at a real premium. But Lucas Paquetá, a couple of inches away from giving Brazil the lead there. He's a man that scored 9 goals for his country at a rate of about 1 every 4.5 games, something like that. Maguire. Now Gordon. Going to join a select band of England players who have scored on their debuts. It's always been a barometer and a predictor of a successful international career after it. There are a fair few that scored on their England debuts and never saw the light of day again for their country. And Anthony Gordon, I think, will certainly be one that will have many, many England games after this. He's shown up well on his debut so far. 0-0 the score. 10 minutes to go to half-time. Rice playing it back for Maguire. And now Maguire will bring the ball forward towards halfway, and then check back inside his own half. That open up the angle for a pass towards Rice. Rodrigo read it, but not in time. England work it forward between the lines to the retreating Watkins. Gordon comes into a more central area to feed Gallagher. Gallagher down towards Foden. Bottom right-hand corner of the penalty area. It's a cross that comes in, and then Gordon with a deflected effort, and that one will loop away and go out of play for another England corner there.
That's much better from England, very aggressive on the counter, and a great layup, I've got to say, by Chilwell. The ball looped in the air, and he just basically hit him, dropped down the ball.
Corner taken short. Foden to Gallagher, back again. Foden left-footed, shot on target, little more. Bento could get down and get his hands behind it and make a comfortable save. Just didn't really get hold of it.
No, he didn't. As I say, shot on target though, which is good. And I think from England's point of view, they certainly know after 30-odd minutes of this game, they're in a real stern test, and this will be absolutely ideal for Gareth and his squad going forward to the summer, I think.
There is a Brazilian side that are without so many of their big hitters. Talking about the goalkeeping problem that they've got, but there's no Marquinhos, there's no Gabriel, no Casemiro or Martinelli, and they were all players that were named in the original squad that have pulled out. Before that, they lost Neymar and Mateus Cunha and Joelinton and Eder Militao and João Pedro, etc., etc., etc. So it is a full-strength Brazilian side, and whatever the result of this game is, it has to be tempered with the fact that that is the case. England also without, as I mentioned earlier, potentially 13 players who would have made Gowd's 26-man squad. So neither at full strength.
Neither at full strength. What I would say is what Brazil have got in that attacking form is certainly a match for anything in world football, personally. I think there's some real talent in that front four, and they've shown that already in this game.
Paquetá off Rafinha, Rodrigo and Vinicius is a heady combination, but it remains 0-0, and despite the fact that Brazil have hit the post, in terms of the stats, possession almost dead level. England shading it, but really is just a narrow advantage. 2 attempts to 1 on target in the Three Lions' favour. We've got a throw here, which is down by the corner flag on the England right. Bellingham's retrieved the ball. He's going to leave it for Konsa to take the throw. With darting run from Foden. Poke the ball back to Konsa. Stones working it from the right into the vacant areas on the left-hand side of midfield where Rice can run forward. Chilwell now out towards Gordon, and he turns it back away from Rafinha. Declan Rice has got it again. A high right-footed aerial ball down towards the England right-hand side. Foden has done well to control that, and was given another little shove to the ground, and a free kick to England, which they'll take a couple of yards in from the right. Gallagher motioning to take it quickly, has been allowed to do that. He's found Bellingham with it. From him to Rice to Maguire to Stones, and any momentum England have from the quick free kicks very quickly gone, with 5 retrograde passes, and then as it was played by Maguire in towards Rice, he hurriedly had to go back to the goalkeeper because he was put under pressure by Vinicius. 6 to go to half time here on TalkSport at 0-0. Konsa. Now Bellingham. And Paquetá has fouled him. And it's a free kick. And the referee, I think, is being told by those in white that an advantage would have worked really well in England's favour there. It's a poor challenge by Paquetá. He's on a yellow card and has to be careful.
Well, personally, I think the England players want Paquetá walking off the pitch now, being sent off. I really do. He's certainly been a serial offender in this game.
Well, that was a touch cynical, because Bellingham was past him. Paquetá coming in, and he's had a little nibble, and then he's flicked the heel of Bellingham to trip him up. And it will be a free kick that will be taken by England in the central position, but much deeper towards halfway. That's one of those challenges that you haven't already had a yellow card, you're going to get one for that. So as a consequence, I think England justifiably will feel that Brazil might be down to 10 there. 5 to go to half-time. England coming in off the left flank again with Gordon. It's a difficult effort. The goalkeeper has done well to paddle away, because it dipped horribly in front of him, and he got his hands to it and flicked it away from the onrushing England players. And then as they try to break quickly with Vinicius, Konsa's fouled him, and it's a free kick which will be taken by Brazil inside their own half. It's been really stop-start the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, there's been a lot of bitty free kicks in there, and I don't think that was one of them. I thought Konsa covered the run really well there, but Vinicius just using his experience and going to ground.
Here's Bruno Guimaraes, wearing 5 for his country, and he drives it forward. Chilwell going up for it. Rafinha beats him, and then Maguire is beaten, and the post was beaten too, but only just. Mistake by Harry Maguire, and the ball falling onto the right foot of the Brazilian player, who's dragged it, Rafinha, across the face of goal and only narrowly wide, and Maguire's got away with it.
Well, I go back to the conversation with Abe beforehand. Are we going to be good enough to defend our way to a major tournament? I think we're going to be good enough to break opposition down, but we've certainly shown a vulnerability, it's fair to say, firstly from Chilwell and then from Maguire on that occasion.
Well, that'll be something to discuss at half-time, and also in the moments after the game as well, but I just wonder what your thoughts are. Whether, on that basis, it would be worth playing with 3 centre-halves. So Stones can push forward, as we were talking about earlier, but you then have 3 at the back in behind them when England are out of possession, if you feel that they're error-prone and can be got at. Stones getting it forward here towards Bellingham. He's been given a shove this time by Rodrigo. And another free kick to England in a central area, but right at the limit of range. It's about 13, 14 yards outside the box.
Yeah, there's been a ludicrous amount of fouls in the game today, and on a bad day at a major tournament, there certainly could be 1 or 2 players being shown red.
Yeah, 18 free kicks have been given so far. That's a foul every couple of minutes or so. 12-6 the crying count. 12 free kicks having been conceded by Brazil. So Foden is standing over this. Declan Rice is standing over it as well. Rice has been given much more set-piece responsibility latterly at Arsenal. Rice raises his left arm above his head. It is he that takes it, swung into that awkward area at the far post where the retreating Brazilian defenders are more than happy to paddle it away at the expense of another corner, which Rice will go out to take.
I've got to say, I'm not seeing that free kick, Jim. It's central, it's 35 yards out, and he's lofted it to the far post for Maguire, who's got 3 players around him. They've not worked the space to isolate a one-on-one scenario at all, and I think we've had a couple of wasted chances in all the free kicks we've taken.
So what can Rice manage from this corner? Takes a lot of the left wing corners for Arsenal, takes this one for England, right footage, swung in towards the edge of the 6, headed down and bundled wide. It was Guy Rice that got the touch. It's only a couple of yards off the line, and he was able to get it away and out for another corner. Phil Foden lurking, and Guy Rice did well to defend that. England try to turn the screw as we go into the final minute of the first half. Fourth official Fabio Carissimo has the numbers ball in his hand. We'll find out how many minutes to be added on in a moment. Goalkeepers come out and push the corner away. Gallagher will be able to pick that up, and then it's a sloppy ball from him. There haven't been many of those tonight at all. That was one, and he's played it away behind Foden and out for a throw that will be taken on the Brazilian left-hand side. 0-0 as we approach first half stoppage time.
Yeah, I'd just like to see us be a little bit more creative with our set plays. I think it's something that Gareth and his staff are certainly looking at. I remember going to Russia in that World Cup, and every set play looked as though it might be a goal. We need to get back to that.
Now Rice striding forward. Just lost possession for a moment. Neither Bellingham nor Gordon could take it on inside the box. And Brazil will clear out as far as Gallagher. Bruno Guimaraes has got it now. He's on halfway. And he sends it out towards the right. 2 minutes of added time. Danilo coming forward from right back. Exchanging passes with Vinicius. Paquetá. João Gomez is waiting, lurking. But Guimaraes will play a straight ball forward instead. Might have been offside anyway had the ball found its way through for Danilo, who's now out of position, and Anthony Gordon will try and capitalise on that. He's played a good ball down the line for Chilwell. Chilwell with a high left-footed ball in, but that wasn't what was required. Only had Foden to aim at, and he sent it sailing over the roof of the net anyway, and out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think we've had best part of 45 minutes now, Jim, and I think this game is still very evenly balanced. England have looked vulnerable on the counter-attack especially, but certainly England have shown when they play high tempo and press the opposition, I think both teams are vulnerable defensively.
For all of that, remains 0-0, which was the score on the two sides last met back in 2017. Walker, Maguire, Stones all started that night. Joe Gomez is on the bench, and Marcus Rashford is on the bench tonight. Both started that game as well. It was the night that Dom Solanke won his so far only England cap, and Joe Hart won his last one for England. 0-0 nearly 7 years ago. 0-0 approaching half-time in this, but still time at the end of this first half for England. About 30 seconds to go. Gordon's seen plenty of it and has used it intelligently here. Checking back Bellingham. It's evaded Bellingham, goes back out for Gordon. Looping deflection on the cross, but the offside flag belatedly comes up. I think players from both sides had expected that it would. And it will be a free kick to Brazil that there'll barely be time to take. That's going to get us in at half-time at 0-0.
Yeah, as I say, I think it will be a bittersweet one for Gareth, this half-time team talk. I don't know whether he's got it on his mind to make changes at all. Personally, I would probably keep it as much as he could and give these players that opportunity, certainly for 60 or 70 minutes, and do the same again Tuesday night.
Well, England have had a little bit more of the possession. They've had a few more shots. They've had more shots on target. But it's Lucas Paquetá that's come closer than anybody with an effort that came back off the post. Brazil actually have looked the more likely to score, for all the fact that England have led some of the metrics. At half-time here, it's England 0, Brazil 0. Adrian, thank you. No changes in personnel made by either manager at this juncture. England forced into one in the first half. You remember Konsa on for Walker. So they'll line up Pickford in goal, Konsa, Stones, Maguire and Chilwell, Rice and Gallagher, Foden, Bellingham, Gordon and Watkins. Brazil, Bento in goal, Danilo, Fabrizio, Bruno, Lucas Beraldo and Wendell, João Gomes, Guimarães and Paquetá, Rafinha, Rodrigo and Vinicius, the front three. Artur Dias, the referee, waiting for the signal to get the second half underway. Two in the book, Bellingham and Paquetá. And here we go for the second half. England looking for just their fifth win over Brazil in their history. This is the 27th attempt. And England kick from right to left towards the old tunnel end of the ground here at Wembley. Their white shirts and dark blue shorts. Brazil in their blue shirts and white shorts, their change kit. First half was punctuated by a steady succession of fouls and free kicks, and it has taken almost 10 seconds for the first of this second half. Rodrigo, the player that has been brought down, has trying to turn his way past Harry Maguire, and he was just given a shove by Gallagher into Declan Rice.
Yeah, what's caused him a bit of damage is just going down and falling onto Declan Rice's studs. I think it's just caught him across the chest. But we spoke at half-time, Jim. I think coming out of this game, and certainly the conversations going forward into the summer, is going to be, yes, we've got the talent in regard to our squad and the players available. We think the balance, the shape and the balance of the team, and that will depend from game to game. I don't think there's any set, yes, this works, this formation and these individuals. I think it's a movable feast, I really do.
Yeah, horses for courses, depending on who you're playing against, of course. As Ollie Watkins puts pressure on the Brazilian debutant centre half, Fabrizio Bruno. Work back by the goalkeeper and cleared. England win the second ball in the midfield and will bring it forward now towards the edge of the Brazilian penalty area. Foden just couldn't get on the end of the pullback from Gallagher, and then he's given another free kick away, and this time his challenge. And the free kick taken quickly by Brazil, who will try and play out from the back themselves. They're back in action on Tuesday. Spain hosting them in a match at the Bernabeu, and then they've got matches against Mexico in the United States and the United States themselves before a Copa America campaign in June. Then they've got to try and salvage their World Cup qualifying campaign. England, of course, is in action Tuesday night, kicks off at 8 here at home to Belgium, and we'll be with you, talking you through the action here on Talk Sport. Let me also remind you, Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoy's this Monday morning from 6, looking back on a weekend of international action and some prime EFL games as well. And that's the boys back on breakfast from 6 Monday mornings. Rafinha gets the ball in here towards the near post. Pickford can catch it comfortably, and then we'll just wait for everybody to get upfield before bowling it out now towards Anthony Gordon. Gordon bringing it forward over the halfway line. He's got Bellingham ahead of him. Gordon then checks back inside off the left flank, now plays it down towards Bellingham. Bellingham on his right foot, Gordon going down off the ball. Bellingham allowed to play it inside the penalty area, and the defensive header puts it away for England's sixth corner without reply.
Yeah, good ball in there by Bellingham. I think when you've got the opportunity to put the ball in the box, you've certainly got to do that. It was Foden drifting in at the far post, and the ball was just put behind. Very uncertain whether to sort of where Foden had gone, I think.
So it's going to be a left-footed in-swinger from Foden from the England right. Maguire trying to get across the face of the goalkeeper. It's come off the top of his head, looped up in the air, keeper stuck in traffic. Not the most effective punch clear, but rescued in front of him by Bruno. and he can get it towards halfway. England will come straight back again, and then Stones was fouled as he just tried to work it forward. He had his legs swept away from underneath him, and it's another free kick to England in a promising position, and they've just got to get one of these right. This one level with the right-hand side of the box and about 10 yards adrift of the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there. As I say, we've lost our potency, I think, from set plays a little bit, Jim, over recent games, and that's something we've got to get back to. It's a big part of the game, a big part of what certainly English teams are all about in some ways.
So Maguire, followed by Bruno inside the penalty area, and now the ball comes in, and round the back was Gordon on the half volley. Good save. Bento did well, beat it away. Gordon not far away from scoring a goal against Brazil on his international debut, and that's forced the first half-decent save out of Bento tonight. That was a much better free kick. Gordon coming around the back, Maguire drawing players out of position, and Gordon very nearly able to capitalise upon it.
Well, just as I was bemoaning the fact that we've not delivered, we've done exactly that there. Fantastic ball in, and Gordon, I'm not sure what more he could have done. You've got to give the goalkeeper certainly good credit. Bento there getting a good hand to that.
He's got 10 goals from Newcastle this season. He's scored more goals this season for Newcastle than he had in his entire Everton career, and very nearly able to add to that tally with one on his international debut here. 2 more very quick free kicks given England's way. We talk about the crime count in the first half being up around 20 free kicks awarded by the ref, and we've seen them even more regularly at the start of the second half. It's the grey-haired Brazilian head coach Dorival just acts as the ball boy, a loose ball ricocheting off Rodrigo, and out of play for a throw which has been taken quickly by Ben Chilwell. Back for Jordan Pickford, clad in all orange tonight, to Rice, to Maguire, back for his goalkeeper again. And then just lofted, clipped cleverly, left-footed out towards Konsa. Konsa to Rice, Rice through the midfield, nice flick by the retreating Foden into the path of Conor Gallagher. He couldn't travel with the ball, has given it away. One back by, firstly, João Gomez, he's lost it. Bellingham striding forward, trying to get away from the challenges in the midfield. They didn't get too far before Paquetá won it back. Guy Moraes lost out for a moment. Loose ball just bobbles down to this near touchline. The Brazilian right, Rafinha can get his foot on it, and Bruno Guimaraes will calm things down and try and get Brazil going again. It's the first time they've lost 3 successive games since 2001. Last time that they did it, they ended up losing 4 in a row. Within 12 months, they were crowned world champions. So it does show how quickly things can turn around. 2002 Brazil's home, 2002 World Cup, not a stellar World Cup in terms of quality, but Brazil winning that, as I say, on the almost immediate back of the worst runs in their history. Got possession at the back again with Danilo, Rafinha, Paquetá trying to get away from Maguire. Another crunching challenge comes in. Gordon has stayed down, worked forward. Watkins trying to spin his man, he's done well. Great physical intent there from Watkins to get the better of Bruno. Now Bellingham turning away in the midfield from Paquetá. Down towards Watkins. Watkins back for Chilwell. England forced to take a few steps back, but now we'll be able to come forward again. Watkins making his way into the middle. Bellingham's laid it off towards Anthony Gordon. And the Newcastle man to Bellingham, who finds Chilwell, immediately points that Declan Rice is free in the midfield. It's worked the other way for Gordon, curving inside the penalty area. The cross didn't quite have the legs to find Watkins. And as it's cleared, Konsa has fouled Vinicius. Just followed him from the touchline into the middle of midfield and fouled him. But better from England in patches in this second period, getting forward and getting better ball inside the penalty area from open play. Still not able to really create the opportunities that Gareth Southgate would want, Stuart.
No, and I think partly that's due to the fact that we've not got enough numbers up quickly enough to support. I see Watkins as the lone striker at times. I'd like to see Bellamy go beyond him on the odd occasion, and maybe certainly the width as well.
And on the left-hand side of the penalty area, the Brazilians work it in. Chilwell's forced to clear, and he's put it out for the First corner that Brazil have won. England have had 6. And Rafinha's going to come out and take this on the Brazilian right-hand side. Just kicks a paper aeroplane away from down by that corner flag, spots it down. And the ball on the corner quadrant. He adjusts his socks. And he takes a 4-5 step run up towards it, hits it left-footed, very, very deep, coming round the back. It's going to be miscontrolled by one of the Brazilian back line, and Gallagher will clear. And just shanks it straight out of play for a throw that'll be taken over on the far side. One of the other potential David Tots tonight is Kobbie Mainoo, who, it's hard to remember now, only made his Manchester United debut earlier this season, back in January. 23 games he's played for United's first team, including starting 15 of the last 16 games in all competitions. He's had an extraordinary rise. I just wonder whether Gareth might be tempted to bring him on at some stage and look at him alongside Declan Rice in the midfield. See how that balance looked. Ball's gone out of play for another throw that'll be taken on the England left-hand side by Jude Bellingham, and we played 10 minutes of the second half, and it's pretty much the same as the opening 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think the game slowed down a little bit on momentum, I've got to say. I don't know at what stage Gareth will turn around and potentially look at 1 or 2 changes within his ranks. You would think around the 60-70 minute mark, and players that could possibly change that. In the wide areas, certainly Rashford, potentially maybe Bowen. They could be the changes in the width area if you're looking to win the game. I would say going forward and looking forward at Tuesday, you want Rice and Bellingham in your team as well, so whether he gives them a sort of break as such.
You're listening to England against Brazil on Talk Sport, and when we're done here you can hear from Gareth Southgate and the players in the tunnel on the phone in with our England correspondent Faye Carruthers asking the questions. We're phoning with Jason Cundy and Jermaine Pennant, and there's lots, always lots after any England performance to discuss, but we'll be very interested to hear your views on this one on our way home. Our usual number 03717 223344 will get you through over on TalkSport 2. Incidentally, we're here day 3 of the Valspar Championship in the PGA, and don't forget every game from the Euros this summer will be covered in full on TalkSport. Brazil bring the ball forward here. Still 0-0. Guimaraes, good ball in. Rafinha, left-footed shot. Chilwell did really well because that was travelling. And Chilwell did well to throw himself in the line of fire. Stop Pickford having to make what might have been an awkward save. And there's just a little low five between the pair of them there. England have conceded another corner which will be taken on the right.
I've got to say it was a super block there. Rafinha just opened his body up, was trying to shape it into the far corner, and Chilwell's just got a good block on it. Forced the corner.
So it's a corner which will be taken on the Brazilian right. Vinicius offers himself for the short one as a white paper aeroplane just glides down towards the contingent of Brazilian subs who are warming. Corner taken short, played back by Guimaraes. And a Rafinha, left-footed ball, took a nick off Gallagher on his way inside the penalty area. Watkins back defending, heads it away. Gallagher going up for it. And now Foden will chase it. And Foden puts the pressure on the ball, but is played back towards Wendell, the left back. Just acting as the last line of the Brazilian defence from that set piece. Now Gordon puts the pressure on, but Brazil can work it back. Bruno clears from the edge of his penalty area. A tall, rugged centre-half. England win possession on halfway. And Gordon brings it forward. Looked like a handball there by Guimaraes. Referee says play on. Gordon going up for it inside the penalty area. And Bruno Guimaraes is able to get it away from his club teammate. And then Chilwell's touch lets him down. And it goes out of play for a throw. Looked like a handball to me as Guimaraes deliberately stopped the attack. And that was the shout from some of the England players and some of the England fans. But the referee allowed play to go on. 58 gone. England 0, Brazil 0 here on TalkSport.
I think that attack was symptomatic of what we're seeing in the second half, and we've had opportunities to go at the opposition. We've done it slightly laboured and decided to take a few sort of interchange of passes rather than a direct, I'm going to take you on.
Anthony Gordon coming off the left flank. Chilwell, great run by by Chilwell inside the penalty area. Sliding challenge, gets the ball half clear. Bellingham's got it now. Set up for Stones. Oh, he rifled that in from 25 yards, but just narrowly wide of the left-hand post.
Well, I was waiting for the goal to nestle, I really was. The violence that he caught that ball with was palpable, but sadly it was off target.
Just had a message from TalkSports England correspondent Faye Carruthers, who has got a better view of the bench than us. Kyle Walker back out, sitting with the injured player, seemed to be walking fine. So that's good news. Hopefully will clarify the exact situation with Walker's injury. He went off with a hamstring problem in the first half. When Faye speaks to Gareth Southgate after the game, you can hear that in the phone-in after the game here on TalkSport, as England again try and make hay down the left-hand side of the penalty area, but symmetrical passing doesn't quite come off for Anthony Gordon, and he goes out of play for a goal kick. Now, the English subs we haven't seen as yet: Duncan, Gomez and Branthwaite at the back, Mainu and Maddison in midfield, Tony, Bowen and Rashford to supplement the forward line, as well as the keepers Johnston and Ramsdale, who won't expect to be getting a run out tonight. Gareth Southgate can make 5 more changes if he sees fit. Raphinha laying the ball off and then running straight into Maguire. Put his hands up and Raphinha hit the deck. And just a collision between the pair of them. Play goes on. And it's gone out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Brazilian right-hand side. The danger that it just feels as though it might be fizzling out a little bit, Stuart. We talked about the momentum having gone that we saw in the first half. The intensity about England hasn't been there in this second period so far. Is that a problem when it's an international friendly?
Well, from a managerial point of view, Gareth will want to see a strong performance for 90 minutes, I'm sure. And to do that, I think for England to play their strongest card, they've got to play with aggression all the time.
Well, Bellingham seeing the keeper off his line. It was a very high tariff chance. I think Bento would have been back anyway, but his attempt to fire a ball over his head from 30 yards has not been executed correctly. After England just one possession back in the midfield, and very quickly broke Bellingham's well.
I think we've just been a little bit guilty in the second half of taking too many passes in the wide area. You get it in the wide areas to get a one-on-one scenario or an overload and go and take the opposition on. I think we've turned that opportunity down. When we have done it on this left-hand side in front of us, we've got him behind a couple of times with Gordon and with Chilwell.
Vinicius has gone down. No foul by Stones. Play goes on with Gordon in the penalty area at the other end, still wriggling his way through, but he was cleared away from in front of him. And now he's back in defensive duty to try and stop Bruno Guimaraes, who rode the first challenge, and then Rice was in strongly. And he got the ball away, and it goes out of play for a throw on the Brazilian right that Paquetá will come forward to take. They have struggled for goals recently, Brazil, in this poor run they've been in. They've only netted 3 in the last 5 games coming into today, and now only scored 1 in the last 370 minutes. So that's a shade over 6 hours in which they've only scored the 1 goal, which was in a 2-1 defeat in Colombia, and beaten in Uruguay and at home to Argentina. Either side of that, they gave against Argentina the first World Cup qualifying defeat they've had at home in their history. They bring the ball forward here. Brazil with João Gomez working into the edge of the penalty area. Chilwell comes across to head it clear from Raphinha, then a left-footed effort from Paquetá, and Pickford's dive suggested he thought that was going to be close. It's gone wide, probably not by much. Great shape on a left-footed shot from the West Ham man. He rubs his hands through his hair. He thinks that was very close to giving Brazil the lead.
Well, I've got to say, it was faded out to him, and from the goalkeeper's dive and reaction, he thinks that was a lot closer than probably I did here, and I'm sat right behind the free kick, so if that would have nestled in the net, that would have been some goal. And that's probably symptomatic of why the Brazilians are at this moment not free scoring.
Chilwell taking a throw for England. Watkins trying to help it on. Watkins, who's been in the form of his life this season with 16 goals and 10 assists in the Premier League. Couple of hat-tricks for Villa, the first Villa player to score 2 hat-tricks in the season since Andy Gray. almost, dare I say, 50 years ago. Watkins hasn't really had too many opportunities tonight. Can they create one for him here? It's Bellingham coming round the back, has headed it back over Watkins' head. And he goes out of play for a goal kick.
See, that was better from England. Ball in the box, and you've got Bellingham up alongside Watkins in the box, coming in at that far post. That's what we want to see as much of supplementary. I think the bench at this moment in time, there could be changes to be had, Jim.
Yeah, Steve Holland's just calling Jared Bowen over. A problem here for Bellingham, which is being attended to by Danilo and Fabrizio Bruno. Touch of cramp maybe for Jude. He's just being held back to his feet. It's a signal that he's okay and he's able to continue. We are going to be seeing Lewis Dunk come on in a moment, and Joe Gomez as well. And Bowen's also been called back. England have got 5 changes left at their disposal from this point, but they've only got 2 opportunities within this second half to make those changes. So it might be a triple now and a double to come. Chilwell will clear down the England left. Gordon just ducks and flicks the ball off the top of his head forward for Rice. Bellingham's got it now. Back for Gordon to Gallagher. Gallagher beaten to it by Joao Gomez, and the Wolves man has done well. He's working to his left-hand side for Rodrigo. Rodrigo to Vinicius. Vinicius inside the area. Right-footed ball clipped in. Headed away well by the England back line. Brazil pick up a loose ball in midfield and play it back for Beraldo. Lucas Beraldo taking it on now away from Ollie Watkins. Forward through the midfield he goes. Guimaraes to his right. Paquetá. To his right is Rafinha. And the former Leeds man is played in. He's midway inside England territory. To Paquetá again. Still Brazil making steady progress up the field as they go from left to right. Out towards the left flank. Vinicius. To the corner of the penalty area. Rodrigo. Good football around the edge of the box, then broken down brilliantly by Declan Rice, who then, having been given a shove, sensing he's going to lose possession, buys the free kick on the edge of the penalty area. And that will be the cue for England to make these changes. Dunk, Gomez and Bowen, the 3 players who are going to be coming on. Lewis Dunk, for just his 4th cap, started the last 2 friendlies, so 5 years after he made his international bow. So he'll be coming on. We're going to be seeing Joe Gomez wearing an English shirt for the first time since October 2020. Actually made his 4th debut the last time Brazil were here in 2017. And Gomez will be rewarded for his magnificent form in a Liverpool shirt this season as he comes on. And Jared Bowen, who's scored 14 goals at a rate of 1 every other game in the Premier League over the course of this campaign, is going to come on for his 6th cap. So there are the 3 England players who are coming on. Bellingham is off, Chilwell is off, and Harry Maguire leaves the field as well.
Yeah, I think opportunity to look at 1 or 2 players. Certainly Jared Bowen on good form for West Ham. Dunk as well for his respective clubs, so and the opportunity, well, he knows what Maguire can do, and certainly Bellingham as well.
That's a Dunk on at centre half. They're taking Maguire's position. He's got the ball now. Gomez has come on at left back for Chilwell, and then Bowen has moved out of the right flank, so Foden is in to Bellingham's position at 10. That's how England have shuffled things around. We're midway through the second half. So it's now Pickford in goal. Konsa, Stones, Dunk and Gomez the back 4. With Rice and Gallagher in midfield, Bowen, Foden and Gordon and Watkins up top. That's the England side that's on the field right now. With a quarter of the game still remaining and 0-0 still the score as Dunk plays the ball back for his goalkeeper and Jordan Pickford clears. Gallagher waits for the ball to get there, then turns it on. And Watkins looking for it on halfway. Couldn't pick up easy possession. Brazil work it back. Gordon put in the pressure on Danilo, but it didn't succumb to it. And as England try and bring it forward, the referee has spotted an infringement. It's a free kick to Brazil just inside their own half. 0-0 Stuart with 22 to go. What else do you want to see? If you're an England fan from this position, what do you think Gareth is looking for that he wants to see from here on in, either in terms of shape or personnel or just variations on what we've seen so far.
In regard to personnel and shape, Foden coming into that central area, making up the midfield three. He's one of the midfield three now, and we've spoke around Foden. Where is his best position? Is it end and wide area? Is it not? Can he be part of that central three? And he's got the opportunity now.
Gordon's got possession, and Joe Gomez is making his way past him. Back towards Lewis Dunk. Out of Declan Rice. Every Brazilian outfield player is back well inside his own half. They've gravitated times to a 4-4-2 with Rodrigo and Vinicius playing as a front two when they're out of possession for Brazil. They're going to be making a change themselves in a moment, be their first of the night, and we're going to be seeing a Pereira among those coming on. The Fulham man will be introduced in a moment. Stones chips it down towards Konsa. Ezri Konsa comes forward towards the edge of the penalty area, rolls Gallagher in, he's gone down inside the penalty area, no foul by Baraldo. And the ball is cleared and takes a nick off an England player and out for a throw to Brazil.
Yeah, just looking at the rerun of that, I'm not sure. I think Gallagher saw the challenge coming in. Rice smile on his face as he gets up.
It's Baraldo that came in. They came in from Gallagher's left and just put the arm on the nape of the back. Gallagher going down easily. So double change for Brazil. Andres Pereira is coming on, and we're also going to see Endrick, who will move to Real Madrid this summer from Palmeiras. He's only 17. He made his debut against Colombia in November. He's already, by the age of 17, played in the Copa Libertadores semi-final. And he's going to come on for his third cap for his country. Paquetá makes way. And he's been replaced by Andres Pereira. And Endrick is going to be replacing Rodrigo. I'm looking forward to seeing this guy in the flesh, Stuart, because they reckon he's the next one off the conveyor belt. He is a massive talent in the making.
Well, judging by their results, they're going to need someone off that conveyor belt a little bit quickly. Harsh. Thank you.
I always liked his dad Mike when he was playing for Derbyshire, but that's a different story.
Medium pace bowler.
Yeah, good player. Properly showing our age here. And the ball's out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the England right-hand side. It's 0-0. Now we're in the final 20 minutes here at Wembley, and the preponderance now of paper aeroplanes gliding down on the currents. Some with more success than others. Just tell you that the game is in danger of fizzling out. Opportunities in the first half came relatively regularly. We haven't seen too many in the second. It's long had the feel of being a game where the first goal might win. England need to make sure that they score it. Only had 2 wins in 13 games against sides ranked to the top 6 of the world under Gareth Southgate. Here's Ollie Watkins on the left-hand side of the penalty area. It's a great turn from him. Good ball in as well. But the Brazilian backline can clear. Firstly by Baraldo, and now he helped further out towards the touchline for a throw, which is one off Conor Gallagher. What did you make of Watkins' performance tonight?
I think he's been steady away. I'd like to see him gallop in the channels a little bit more, but I think our build-up play has not encouraged him to do so as much. I think he's been steady away. If you're comparing him sort of to Harry Kane probably in a similar, playing the same role at number 1, probably would have played the game and had as few touches as certainly as Watkins has.
Now Rafinha almost inside the penalty area, just got the better of Dunk, gets a shot away, and it's clear. Comes out of the left-hand side of the penalty area for Wendell. Now played down towards Vinicius. Vinicius inside the England box. Gallagher with a really good defensive header. Ball breaks with João Gomez on his Brazilian debut. He comes back outside the area, and then Vinicius tackles himself. Falls over the ball. It's an England throw in front of the contingent of Brazilian support over on that far side. A throw which England will take level with the edge of their own penalty area. 17 to go. England 0, Brazil 0 the score. And the final England changes are imminent, and we're going to see the Manchester United pair of Rashford and Mainu come on. And what a story this is for Kobbie Mainu.
It certainly has, but I mean, we've covered United a fair bit recently, and every time he's played, he's caught my eye. Plays way above his years, confident on the ball, and I think he deserves to be out there tonight.
He'll be on in a moment. He's just had a hug of congratulations from Gareth Southgate. And he makes his way forward now, wearing 21. He'll never forget. He's still a few weeks short of his 19th birthday. The youngest man on the field tonight, so it's an honour that goes to the Brazilian Endrick, but your international debut at 18 is something special. So he'll be coming on. Marcus Rashford coming on as well. Rashford, who started against Brazil back in 2017, will be on for his 60th cap as Mainu wins his first and becomes the 64th debutant under Gareth Southgate, who incidentally has beaten all but 3 of the sides that he's faced as an international manager. One of the 3 that he hasn't beaten in regulation time, and one of them he's beat on penalties, and only leaves France and Brazil. And there's still time for him to cross another one off the list tonight. So here are the changes. Gordon's coming off. Decent debut for him. Gallagher coming off as well. Mainu off for Gallagher. Rashford on for Gordon. With just a shade over 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, good opportunity for this young man to come on, Mainu. As I say, another very exciting young English player. And accompanying him is a semi-young player as well in Rashford.
Yeah, Rashford's still only 26 for all the fact that he's played way over 400 games for club and country. As mentioned, his 60th international appearance tonight, with 17 goals to his name. More Brazilian changes are imminent as Lewis Dunk picks up possession. That's England's 6 changes made. Here's Stones controlling the ball 15 yards outside the penalty area. Brought things to a standstill, was waiting for Endrick to come and engage. Stones played it to his left-hand side for Lewis Dunk. And it goes back for Pickford. A little bit awkward. It threatened to bounce awkwardly in front of him. England will try and play out from the back. Stones to Rice, back for Pickford. Slotted through the midfield beautifully for Mainu. That was very clever. And now Rashford in space on the left-hand side. Mainu down towards Joe Gomez. Gomez will control it and play it back for Lewis Dunk, who turns it under his right foot to find his goalkeeper again. And once more England are going to be able to play out from the back here with Declan Rice. 0-0 the score here on TalkSport. England-Belgium to come on Tuesday, and more immediately Gareth Southgate's reaction to this performance. Be brutally honest, it always is. We'll hear it with our England correspondent Faye Carruthers and the headline makers in the tunnel as well. And that's on the phone with Jason Cundy and Jermaine Pennant following this on TalkSport.
Yeah, just looking across our back line, we're on the build-up here, Jim, and if you look at, say, Manchester City, let's compare us to them a little bit here. If you looked across the front line, Manchester City on the build-up, on the slowest build-up, would have at least 5 of their players in the opposition's back line, waiting for that ball. We don't have that. We don't have as many players in that advanced areas, and I don't know whether it's Gareth's going to have to find a way of getting those players further forward, so when it does get forward we might have a numbers overload against the opposition.
That's something that you feel would greatly help us, would augment the attacking phases of play?
Well, it's got to. When I think we've been short of numbers up front, either with an extra runner going beyond Watkins or people getting up alongside and getting into the box, because the key is you've got to have 3/4 players inside the opposition's box every time that ball flashes in. Unless you break that quickly, you physically can't.
Foul by Rashford after good interchanges between him and Foden, but Bruno Guimaraes went down. Foden helps him back to his feet. Brazil are going to make another double change, and we're going to see Savio and Douglas Luiz come on. Savio on for his debut, another teenager, a winger who's on loan at Girona in Spain, where he's had a great campaign in their brilliant season. 10 goals he's got. He was actually a teammate of Jared Branthwaite at PSV Eindhoven last season, and a pair of them were on loan. He's on loan at Girona from Troyes in France, and he comes on for his debut. Douglas Luiz, a little bit longer in the tooth from an international perspective, but it's only his 12th cap for his country. The man who's got 10 goals for Villa this season comes on into the midfield. So double change made by Brazil, 12 minutes to go. England 0, Brazil 0 here on TalkSport. The ball cleared by Bento. Should be easy for the bearded Gomez, it is. Off the top of Rashford's head. Headed back through the midfield, but Lewis Dunk has got it, and then Gomez did well just to make sure he was there ahead of Endrick and got it back for Jordan Pickford. Laying up his 28th clean sheet for England. They've got a rate of about one every other game, which is a pretty tidy return in international football. Stones gets it out of the England right-hand side, where Konsa is able to bring the ball forward now. 11 minutes to go. Still England 0, Brazil. Is Mainu. Back for Stones. Stones getting it forward. Mainu. That was a brilliant turn from Mainu. That's just magnificent. Maturity beyond his years. Not fazed by the standard of opposition he's playing against. He's got the ball. Difficult circumstances. Picked it up. Brilliant turn. Pirouetted with the ball still at his feet. Laid it off successfully. What a future. I mean, his presence not bad. What a future he has ahead of him. Here's Declan Rice now. Right footed, just clips a straight ball forward. Gomez making his way forward. Forces a slightly injudicious defensive header, but Brazil win the seconds and can bring it down the touchline with Savio. Savio blocked off by Rashford. Now chipped over the top. There's an opportunity now for Brazil to get in. Vinicius, he's goal side! And Pickford can't make the save. 1-0 Brazil with 10 minutes to go. Vinicius with the effort. He's come back off Pickford and is bundled over the line by Endrick. The 17-year-old gives Brazil the lead. It's England 0, Brazil 1 with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, a really dynamic attack there by the Brazilians, cut through the middle of the defence, and England to a man around the referee looking for an offside decision they're not happy with. As I say, it was a deflection basically, and then a poor header from Dunk, I think it was, and I think that's offside.
Well, Dunk was the defender who might just have played everybody off. It is very, very close. The VAR is having a look at it. Great play by Vinicius. Nothing that Pickford could do really. Came out, made himself big. He squirted back off his thigh. And Endrick was there to side-foot the ball over the line for what is set to be his first international goal. The first of many, I'm sure, at just 17. It is going to count, I think. And Endrick takes further celebration now from his teammate and also from his coach Dorival. Referee pointing to the centre spot. And England, the first of this double-header of prestigious friendlies, find themselves behind late on in the game.
Yeah, as I say, it was one of those games when you ask me the question, what do we want from this game? Certainly to see it out potentially with a clean sheet, if not get our nose in front. The result isn't important at this moment in time, but I think we failed to put too much pressure on the Brazilian goal, and out of the two teams I'd probably say that they look the more likely to score over the 80 minutes or so that we've played.
Well, England's last home defeat in a friendly came against the Dutch 8 years ago this week. They've won 14 and drawn 4 since then. That's only the second goal they've conceded in the last 11 home friendlies. Switzerland, the only other team to have scored on a day where England went behind and came back to win. Left it late if they're going to be able to turn this one around. 1-0 Brazil with Endrick getting the goal. It was a very close offside call, but the defender, I think it was Dunk, was just have played Vinicius onside. So Brazil with the lead. Dorival's first game in charge with a perfect fillip for them after their 3 successive defeats. It'll be a big victory for them.
As well, Jim, if you ask me, what have the Brazilians done slightly better than what we have tonight? I think when they've sniffed blood and the opportunity for a goal, they've really gone after us. You know what I mean? Either individually or collectively in 2s and 3s, they've gone for our goal.
Well, the last time that Brazil won in England was 1995, Graham Lasso giving England a half-time lead that day, but Juninho, Ronaldo and Edmundo turned it around for Brazil in the second half. In front of just a shade over 83,500 here tonight. England find themselves behind. Here's Rice finding Rashford. 6.5 to go as England look firstly for an equaliser. Gomez putting the pressure on. Mainu almost winning it back on the edge of the Brazilian penalty area, but Brazil will be able to play out. England have to make sure they don't leave themselves overexposed as they hunt the ball in advanced positions. And a goal from Endrick will certainly polarise your opinions, potentially at least, as to England's performance tonight. And you can have your say on national radio with Jason Cundy and Jermaine Pennant taking your calls on 03717 223344 at the climax of the game. But Brazil lead 1-0 and they're pushing forward, chasing more. Ball is down on the right-hand side with Andreas Pereira to Savio. The debutant winger, the left-footed, who's playing on the right. Back from him to Douglas Luiz. He turns it away from his club teammate Watkins. Beraldo bringing it forward. Out to the Brazilian left. Nobody's really being committed in towards the edge of the penalty area, but João Gomez is able to recycle it through the midfield, and Brazil will work it back inside their own half again for Fabrizio Bruno. England's first half performance better than that in the second. They have come off the boil. It's been a 6 out of 10 from England tonight, and there'll be a few that wouldn't agree with that assessment and think it's a little bit south of that. Notwithstanding the fact that both sides have had loads of players out through injury, England will feel that they might have given a more cohesive performance, particularly in this second half. Brazil got it down on the right-hand side again with Savio. Pereira making a run past him. We're back for Danilo. Danilo to Douglas Luiz, and he'll turn it back for Fabrizio Bruno. If you were making a call on 03717 223344, what would be your headline observation as to this England performance tonight?
The big standout for me is I think going forward we should have been a touch more dynamic when we had opportunities to go after the opposition, but defensively we're going to have to be tighten up slightly. I felt that pre-game and nothing's changed in regard to my thought process, because Brazil looked as though on occasion they could cut through us too easily.
Mainu inside the centre circle. Pickford came out, swept up just on the edge of his box. He only just able to nudge it out of the way of Endrick. Rashford to Rice. He just stopped the ball so that Rashford could run onto it and continue. Mainu's got it now. Mainu to Rice. Joe Gomez on the edge of the box. Right-footed ball, clipped in from in, very deep. Brought down well over on the right-hand side by Jared Bowen. Bowen laying it back. England have got everybody apart from Pickford in Brazilian territory, well inside Brazilian territory. Dunk forward towards Gomez. Gomez inside the box, and as he looks up he only sees one white shirt in the penalty area, which was Watkins. Bowen waiting on the edge of the penalty area. It just underlines what Stuart was saying earlier, his observation that England aren't committing enough bodies forward, and they don't hear as Gomez tries to get it inside the penalty area. Brazil clear out towards Savio, and the young substitute has done well for Danilo to be able to clear, and Dunk mops that one up at the back for England for Stones to come again.
Yeah, that's the point. The build-up here, there's a lot of players outside the box. You look in the box, I'm looking at Ollie Watkins with two centre-halves around him. We've got to get a situation where it's at least equal numbers, if not an overload.
Starting change from Rice, really well timed. Ball goes out of play for a throw on the Brazilian right. Played 87 minutes, and it's England 0, Brazil 1. And the final Brazilian change is going to be made in a moment. And I think it's going to be another debutant, Pablo Maia, Sao Paulo player, is going to be coming on. So it will be the 7th player making his debut for Brazil tonight. Pereira, Vinicius. Dunk's won it, but his touch wasn't true. Split down towards the touchline. And now to be played out towards the Brazilian left. England getting the bodies back in position. The Still able to bring the ball forward, taking it on inside the penalty area, but losing out, and then England winning a free kick. So barely time for England now to muster anything. Trailing 1-0. Brazil will just break up the flow of the game. Vinicius coming off. Pablo Maia coming on to replace him. Defensive midfielder for a winger, and they're also going to make a change to the back, where they'll take off left back Wendell and replace him with centre half Bremer, the Juventus man, who was a late call up to replace the injured Gabriel. Bremer in tribute to Andreas Bremer, the West German World Cup winner of 1990. So they'll both be on, and that will be the end of the changes. 90 seconds plus stoppage time to go, and England at the moment staring down the barrel of a home defeat, which hasn't happened in an international friendly for 8 years.
No, but as I say, there's always a learning curve out of this. I won't be ringing into the show tonight as Angry of Mayfair and very cross. For those who remember Angry of Mayfair.
I do remember Angry of Mayfair, absolutely. It's taking the positives, it's learning from mistakes. You know, when it comes down to it, whatever happens in the European Championships is how this summer's going to be remembered. It won't be for a home defeat in a friendly against Brazil. It's going to be the matches when the chips are really down that will be significant. So it's, as with any international friendly, it's taking the positives, taking the negatives, learning from them, and making sure that there's much more of one than the other when the time really matters. Watkins again runs almost down a cul-de-sac because he's got no option as the ball is played in. It was almost a brilliant piece of play by Endrick. Acrobatic backheel volley flick. It looked as though he was fouled. The referee says play on. England bringing it forward here with Rashford. Still Rashford going inside the penalty area, but just as he was prepared to pull the trigger, there was a covering challenge which came in from Danilo to knock the ball away. It's a really good piece of defending.
Certainly was. As I say, that's the sort of interaction I'd be quite happy if my attacking players are giving the ball away, driving into the box, committing defenders. So sometimes if it doesn't pay off, you say, OK, I can live with that.
We're into 4 minutes of added time at the end of the game. England 0, Brazil 1. The throw which will be taken on the Brazilian right-hand side. They're clearly in no hurry to restart proceedings. Why would they be? Danilo, the Juventus defender, taking the throw. Rice gets the ball away. Watkins. Bowen will flick it on and chase after it himself, but gave himself a little bit too much to do. Ball work back for the Brazilian goalkeeper Bento. Rashford going up for it. He and Rice between them have won it. Mainu did well to step forward and nudge it away from João Gomez. 1-0 Brazil with 3 minutes of stoppage time to go here on TalkSport. And your reaction to come with Jermaine Pennant and Jason Cundy next. Rashford, level with the edge of the box. Back for Mainu. Still time for England at least to salvage a positive result and extend their unbeaten streak to 11. Turn on the edge of the penalty area. Not the best from Bowen. He ran into trouble rather than away from him. And then Quansah has lost it over on the far touchline. Will be played for João Gomez to chase for Brazil, but Rice is going to be there first and has stepped up through the gears when he needed to keep the ball on the island and bring it forward. But 1-0 Brazil lead with just over 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, and I think England have got it all to do to pull something out. The fire this late on. At the moment we've got too many players sat behind the ball, feeding the ball, and I think the make-up of the team at the moment doesn't lend itself to getting extra players in and around Watkins.
Stones forward towards Rashford. Rashford having a little bit of joy coming in off that left flank. He's getting space to work with. Back from him to Dunk. Dunk to Rice. Here's Quansah on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Rice will sweep it in first time. Rashford! And I don't know whether he took his eyes off it, whether he took a little nick before it got there. But he's just completely missed it. It was a header at the far post, and I don't think he made any contact at all.
Well, on that occasion we got bodies in the box when it was worked from left to right. The ball did come in. Good ball in by Declan Rice. And I think it was the slightest of flicks from the Brazilian. Danilo. Just on to Rashford's head.
Just brushed the top of Rashford's head on his way out of play for a throw. So one last chance perhaps for England. Rice feeding Rashford again. Right-footed ball curved in, looking for Bowen. Comes out for Rice. Right-footed volley from him. And now he spins down towards the corner flag after a deflection. Joao Gomez makes sure that Pablo Mai's touch goes out of play for a throw and not a corner. England looking to take the throw quickly, and Joao Gomez has stopped that happening by punching the ball out of the hands of Ezri Konsa. So this will be the last attack for England. They've got it on the right with Foden. Back again for Mainu. Mainu to Stones. Right-footed. Clipped out towards Rashford. Rashford on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Now or never for England as they look for an equaliser right at the end of the game. Dunn taking it on. He's lost possession. One back on the left by Gomez. Fired in from him and half clear to Foden. About 5 seconds left here. Foden coming in round the back is Rashford. Taken away for a corner. Then may well not be time to take it, but England will commit the body sport. Artelias puts the whistle to his mouth.
Between these phases of play and earlier, when the ball was coming in earlier, if at all, we didn't have the bodies in the box. Now all of a sudden we're equal numbers and it's stretching the Brazilian backline.
It's taken far too long for this urgency to arrive. Brazil clear this outside the penalty area. They've won. Rice is going to take the corner. It's going to be a right-footed in-swinger. 13 players inside that 6-yard box. Rice right into the heart of it. It's headed clear. Falls outside the penalty area. Gomez didn't get his touch right. Brazil will break quickly. 3 against 1 on the counter-attack. The ball slipped inside the penalty area and Pickford makes a big save to deny Savio. And that is the end of the game. Brazil should have made it 2 right at the end, but they have won by a goal to nil. It's England's first home defeat since 2020. It's their first home defeat in the friendly for 8 years. And it's a disappointing night. Yes, it's a friendly. Yes, there are a lot of players missing. And yes, England will play better in the European Championships. But on a night when England needed questions to be answered, not many of them were answered positively. England played half decently in the first half, fell away in the second when changes were made. Gareth Southgate will be hoping for improvements, firstly against Belgium on Tuesday, and then when it really matters in June and hopefully July. Tonight, England have been beaten by Brazil by a goal to nil.